How's Brownie, Leppa?
I think he's okay. He's got a knock to the head, so I just couldn't get him back on. I don't think there's anything long term. I saw he had a bit of a shiner though, but yeah, I don't know. I just saw that part of it.
Did your heart go in your mouth when you saw him go down, like given his history with the head knocks?
Obviously, everyone, I think everyone was a bit concerned because of that. He's, hopefully it's nothing too big. I think there's enough metal in there. Hopefully it's okay to hold together, but it's obviously not ideal for him to get a head knock.
Do you feel like the rest of the boys were a bit shell-shocked when he went off, because they seemed to go on a run after that? It was 4 or 5 goals and they kicked away. Was that the critical sort of point in the game where your boys were a bit shell-shocked?
I don't know about shell-shocked. We lost a target, and sometimes you can lose confidence going inside 50 when you don't have that big target, particularly with Daniel Merritt pulling out before the game. We sort of were a bit down on tools anyway, so maybe there was a bit of that, but I'd like to think we could overcome something like that to still perform well. I don't think that was a difference in the game.
What do you think was the difference in the end, Justin? You had some encouraging performances from the younger players there, but it really kind of fell away in the back end of the team.
Yeah, there wasn't many good players. Our scores from stoppages were really poor. I mean, they kicked 5 goals from 450 stoppages for them. That's a pretty general sign that your general accountability and ability to be switched on is not there, and I really felt that was the case. Every time we got the ball, we had to make a rush disposal. We were happy to give them 1 or 2 metres to make a choice with the ball, and that was the real concern of the night. It's actually been a concern for a few months. It's been one of the things we're trying to work on, is to respect that defensive side of the game, and it just sort of fell apart.
The red time really got you again in that second half of the second quarter as well. Yeah. And do you think, well, you've already mentioned, you think the boys weren't switched on to an extent?
Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, that's been good for us the last 2 weeks. Yeah. Red time's been the reason we've won the last 2 games, actually, and today it wasn't. Hard to explain with young groups. They were really on tonight. I thought we've got to give credit to them. I mean, one thing we're quick to do in AFL at the moment is jump on the loser heavily and sort of give the winner a bit of a pat on the back, but their tackle intensity around the ball, they push us on the back foot, and our way out of it was probably by giving away free kicks and doing silly things. So that's a good lesson for our guys, to make sure that teams, we haven't had a team come at us really. I mean, when you're sitting at the bottom of the ladder, most teams are a bit nice to you, but they were hungry tonight and we just didn't handle it very well.
Were the boys a bit tired after 2 weeks of being up with 2 wins? Did you sense that?
Possibly. They're the intangibles. You just don't know. They were. I could tell from the first minute. It's funny. The more I get to know this group, you think 5 minutes in, you think, oh wow, what do we do? I mean, I would have thought it took halfway to the third quarter before I think we ran out of options of structurally things we could try to get them back in the game. But so the last quarter was a bit of, I guess not hope in the box, but a bit of trying to find a way to get them sparked, but it just wasn't there.
How much of a setback after those past couple of weeks? You've spoken that these games were winnable, and obviously tonight wasn't. You're not sure. Setback.
Yeah, of course, in the moment it is, but when I took over this team, I knew there's going to be half a dozen weeks where we're not going to be up, and you just don't know when those weeks are. This was one of them. Not happy with it because going into the game, obviously it was a winnable game. You'd like to, when it was a Kangaroos game a month or so ago, it's gonna happen to our group, but it doesn't mean you can sit here and be happy with it. We have to learn from it, and our leaders need to get better at arresting these stages, and it didn't happen.
Was that Louis Taylor's best game for Brisbane so far? He seemed to use the ball well, kick 3 goals.
Yeah, he did. He was really good, Louis, wasn't he? He's a difficult matchup, and but he's been terrific. As I said, some of our younger players were good, some weren't as good. Some of our senior players were good, some weren't. So it was that sort of night.
I mentioned Lewis Taylor and Dane Zorko also popped up with a couple of goals. So those guys certainly continued their form on. But as you mentioned before, it was just the tall timber that made you guys a little bit exposed tonight.
Yeah, it was. They got a lot over the back tonight too, particularly their tools. They've got 2 really good key position players, and a 3rd in the reserves and a 4th in the reserves, and we're struggling to find one. take over our mantle over the years. So that's just the way it sits with our list, and that's the realities of it. So we need to, in particular when Brownie went off and Roger was, we had to manufacture goals, and it just couldn't happen for us. Moore came into the game and just started marking everything back there. The game really just didn't suit us in the end.
Obviously, you'll think about this one tomorrow and into Monday, but I suppose with a game like this, you just want to put it past you as soon as possible and move on to next week.
Oh no, it'll be the same review. You know, we'll do exactly the same things. We do that every week. We want to provide a consistent environment for our boys. I don't want to be flying off the seat of my pants, that's for sure. They've got to know how the review system works, what to get out of it, but maybe a few more negatives and positives this week. Other weeks it's more positives than negatives. So we just have to deal with it clinically and know what we did, and then move on come Monday afternoon.
So sorry, just one on Brownie. Like, will he have scans or something to confirm things, or what's the
I don't even know if it requires scans, mate, to be honest. The doctors tend to decide if it actually needs it or not. I'm probably not, haven't got enough information yet.
So just said concussion. So,
Yeah.
yeah.